Hi, Hannah. Also, hi, Tyler.
Hey, what's going on? I didn't know if you wanted me in the intro to do like your normal thing and like now guest starring this piece of crap.
Whoa, first of all, we would never go there. Secondly, our intro is different every single time we do it.
The whole show's different every single time we do it. Are you fucking kidding me? We're awful.
We're
So for anybody that doesn't know, this is my husband, Tyler.
Hey, everybody.
He's hanging out with us today.
Hey,
well,
Tyler.
Me always, but Brandon as well now.
Hi, Brandon.
Hey.
Tyler's usually just off screen, sending me text messages about shit I'm saying during the podcast because he's only getting half of the conversation.
What a troll.
Yeah.
He is.
Okay.
Oh, featuring Cyrus's butt here too.
Oh, there's Doug butt.
If you're watching on Patreon, that's your view.
Patreon.com/GhostWritten.
Ooh, plug it early. Plug it early, girl.
We did last time too. Oh, buddy.
Oh, also, this is GhostWritten. Welcome.
Oh yeah, GhostWritten.
Thanks for listening.
Featuring Tyler.
Oh yeah, Tyler's here.
Yeah, that guy too, I guess.
Just
Sure.
show, that's fine.
Oh yeah. Well, so every time I've gone to Kroger here lately, I've looked at like the Halloween decorations, and I finally got a little like LED plastic jack-o'-lantern that's sitting out on the
They're so cute.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's so
they
cute.
have giant eyeballs on stakes that go beside your walkway, and it takes everything I have not to come home with them and a completely adjustable human-sized skeleton. I'm like, I'm gonna spend $100 at Kroger on decorations.
Have you seen those clickbaity articles about that person who like decorated for Halloween and the police like showed up because it looked so real?
Yeah.
That's creepy. I mean, also that's dedication, but like
living his best life. It does look real. It's fucking upsetting.
Yeah, like a little too real. It's like I'd keep an eye on them.
He knew the cops were going to show up on that one. There's no way.
Well, when I was looking at stuff last week, there was a story about a lady who hung herself on a tree outside of her house, and it just happened to be Halloween, and everybody thought it was a decoration.
Yep, and she just hung there for a couple days.
Yeah,
until somebody realized it was her. I think that's happened a couple times. For anybody outside the US, we go hard, okay? I don't know if there's any other country that's so excited about Halloween as we are.
That would also be the perfect time to do something like that. Don't get any ideas, you motherfuckers.
Yeah. At least don't bring us into it if you do.
Yeah.
We didn't tell you to do shit.
But like in Trick or Treat, that dude who's like the vampire is like killing people, and there's a girl laying there with blood, and everybody's just like, oh, nice costume.
We need to watch that.
They look like they're having a swell time.
Exactly.
Good wholesome Halloween fun. I'm obviously part of tons of like Halloween groups on Facebook, and people start posting stuff as it comes into stores in the US, and everybody out of the country is like, we don't have any of that stuff here. I'm so jealous.
Well,
you can come hang out with me and go to some Halloween stores for Halloween, and we'll ship it
yeah.
back to England.
Well, and that's like, there's like a meme right now about like Halloween Express or Spirit Halloween, how they kind of like take over these empty stores.
Yeah.
God, I saw one the other day, and it was some huge company. Like, I can't remember what it was, but it was like they had like put the Halloween Express sign over the.
They were striking, and somebody snuck in and stuck the Halloween. It was the Spirit Halloween sign over the front door.
That's amazing.
I was like, coming soon. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And I was
like a disco, wasn't it?
Something like that.
I think so.
I don't know. I had it, and then it was gone. Yeah, and then I tried to grab at it.
I don't know.
And then it just drifted off. No, I was at Walmart yesterday, and I was looking. Wait, was it Walmart? Why do I do this? I get so fixated on like one little thing. Anyway, it was someplace that I was at, and there was this really cute. Oh no, it was Michael's, and there's a section of like half off Halloween shit. Hannah, you would have loved it. There was like this little metal piece. It was like had its own little stand, and it was like a book that was open, and it had like witch spells written in it. It was awesome. I almost got it.
Michael's today, right?
Apparently.
We're going to Michael's.
But here's the thing.
Appreciate it, Brandon. That's a good thing.
You're welcome. First of all, for making your wife happy.
We're going on vacation
That's supposed
next week, but,
that's supposed to be your job,
Michael's.
okay?
Hey, give and take.
But what I was going to say was it was in the 50% off section, and I know that I just have to hold out and wait till fucking November 1st, and then I can go in there and get that shit for 80% off.
Fucking gone.
Yeah, well, that's a chance.
One of my friends was like, "Hey, Michael's finally put their Halloween stuff out." I'm sure they probably just had a hard time getting it because
Well, a little tidbit, because I was mad. Bath and Body Works has already gotten rid of their Halloween shit.
Yeah, we figured that out yesterday. No, not happy.
So mad.
I just want more vampire blood hand soap.
Yeah, and what's the one? It's like Ghoul Friend.
Ghoul Friends.
That one smells so good. Listen, I know that the CEO of Bath and Body Works listens to this podcast. What the fuck?
What is your fucking problem?
Why do you hate happiness?
Right? It's not Halloween yet. You can't get rid of Halloween products before Halloween. That's not how this works.
You're not Walmart. They're just ignoring Thanksgiving, by the way.
Lobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Hobby Lobby's even put anything Halloween out now. I think they just go straight to Christmas. It's the devil's holiday.
Really quickly, there's this hilarious POV TikTok. There's all these POVs. It's like POV, I'm the youth pastor at your church. And it's so funny. It's this guy. He's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing, bud? Yeah, just quick question." He's like, "I saw that you made a post on Facebook about your wife taking your kids out for Halloween, and it was just all this thing about how it was like a sin and they're not allowed to do it." And yeah, it was too real. It was too real.
Try and stop me, friend.
So I haven't been super watching anything spooky this week, but I did start this Icelandic cop procedural that's really good. It's called the Valhalla Murders, and it's so moody, and like it's so funny to see like character tropes in like American shows on like a foreign show, because the main character is like this lady who's like, she's just trying to raise her son, and she's divorced because her and her husband didn't work out because she worked too much.
The Rita McEntire song play every time she walks on the screen.
And she put too much into her job, and she's really just trying to see the fruits of her labor at the police station where she's been for 15 years. And this promotion's coming up where they're going to make her like the chief investigator. And then this other woman gets promoted who's only been there for 3 months. And she's like, "What the fuck, bro?" And the guy's like, "Listen, do your job." And then
she's prettier, sorry.
And then these murders start happening, and then they bring in a guy from Oslo who is actually from the town, and so he's like coming back, and they have to work together, but he's a hard ass with a dark past, but listen, I'm making fun of it, but it's actually really good. So
shit. The stereotypes are strong.
Yeah. What about y'all? What you been up to? What have you been watching? What media have you been consuming?
So you got anything spooky, honey? He doesn't do.
No, not really. I mean, What We Do in the Shadows, we've been keeping up on that. That's about as spooky really as I think I've been a part of so far.
Yeah.
I think I might have told you about this, Hannah, but I tried to get So I got Bradley to watch the movie What We Do in the Shadows several years ago.
It's so
Like
good.
right when we first met, and he was like, "Is this supposed to be funny?" And I was like, "Who are you?" And then I tried to get him to watch the show once, and he was like, "That doesn't really look like something I'm interested in." Then the other day, this motherfucker is like, "Hey, I wanted to start this show. It's kind of like The Office, but with vampires." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Has to be his idea.
Yeah,
Show's fucking hilarious.
it's really good. And we had started watching. We haven't watched it in a little bit, but I just like when I started watching it the first time by myself, I just like immediately fell in love with Guillermo. And
he's so cute. Phoebe is obsessed with him. I got her a t-shirt for her birthday this last year at Christmas, and it's Guillermo with like tattoo flowers around him.
I'm obsessed with him as well.
And like steaks.
You should get a tattoo of Guillermo dressed up as Antonio Banderas' vampire.
Armand.
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny.
That is your next tattoo.
Yeah, it's already. I made the appointment right now. Hold on.
Might as well. Barry would probably be so fucking excited about
Yeah,
that.
I imagine he'd be on board 100%.
Fucking hilarious. So what I've been listening to this week is the Paranormal Mysteries podcast.
Ooh.
And that's actually why we're here with Tyler right now. So I was listening to it yesterday. Like he's kind of dry. Have you listened to it?
No, are you saying that?
Not
the
me.
podcast.
Okay.
I was gonna say, are you
Yeah.
saying Tyler's dry?
No,
Damn,
no,
call
the
me out.
dude
You're only
does
sitting
the
far away from me,
podcast.
woman. Damn.
And this is my husband. But anyway, the dude that does the podcast, he's a little dry, of course, but he does listener stories like we do, and he's super respectful to people. But he was doing an episode about shadow people, which we have done before.
One of our favorite subjects.
Yes, we've done this episode before, but I'm listening and he says something and Tyler goes, "Yep." I was like, pause. What? He's like, "Yeah, that totally happens." I was like, we need to talk. Yeah, so I think I mentioned in our podcast that Tyler's has had experiences with shadow people. He's never really told me anything that's happened. So he's been strong-armed into our podcast today.
So is this all fresh for you? Are you hearing this for the first time?
He told me a little bit yesterday. We'll see how much he's actually got. Another story that I've heard this week about shadow people. I was in the office for one of our scheduling teams talking to them. And I made a joke about ghosts in the building because we work in a cancer center. It's haunted as shit, of course.
Right.
And one of the girls looks at me straight face and goes, "Yeah, there's a shadow man in this hallway. He's got like a long coat and a hat on." She's like, "I see him out of the corner of my eye all the time, and I just try to like ignore him." I was like, "Wait, what? What just happened?"
That's the one that people say they see.
Yeah. I was like, "Did you know that that's the most common shadow person seen?" And she's like, "No, but I just try to ignore him. I don't want him to pay any attention to me." And I was like, "What the fuck?" So here's some reference for this building and where her office is. I used to work in this hallway. So it's an old research building. So there's labs on either side of this hallway. As you're going down the hallway, there's one room that goes all the way through to an identical hallway on the other side. And it's always dark. Nobody's ever fucking over there. And my office used to be in the back, and I was there all the time by myself. And I've heard tons of shit in that office. It always sounded like there was somebody else in the office with me, even though I knew nobody else was in the building. I work in the same building now. I just on a different floor, and I'm there all the time by myself, and weird shit happens. It's not an uncomfortable place though. So when she said she sees this guy, I was like, "Ooh." But yeah, so I was talking to Tyler about it, and I was like, we're gonna have to do a follow-up shadow people episode. You gonna record with me?
Hell yeah.
Like, we're doing this, it's happening.
He's like, he acts reluctant, but really he's just been waiting for the moment.
He's just like,
my time to shine.
Yeah.
Got some butterflies in his tummy.
Before you start, Tyler, move your mic a little bit closer to your.
That's where he keeps it when he games, and it has to be completely straight because he's.
I'm a little OCD when it comes to things.
Is it because you're
Is that any better?
Is it because you're completely straight?
That could be. I'm just yeah.
How does it feel to be in the minority for once?
That's it's not bad.
Just
so some quick reference for the relationship between the three of us is Tyler and Brandon were friends before I came around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they used to work together and we all lived in the same apartment complex. So Tyler's the reason that I know Brandon. I'm like, ha, I get to hang out with him more than you do.
Hey. Still love you though, Tyler. Still love you to
absolutely. Death. Back in those good old Caitlin Court days.
Oh God, don't be telling people.
Lord.
It was great. We had our own like kind of little compound action going on where we had like all of our friends were in basically like a 1 to 2 block square radius in apartments, so we could all hang out whenever we wanted, and it was fantastic.
And you know what's funny is I'm realizing more and more that that's like the millennial dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you know how many times that we've like joked about like all of us like buying land and like living in a fucking like commune. Basically, and like I see that so often, like on posts online where people talk about like if they won the lottery, like what they would do, and it's like that exact thing. And I'm like, you know what, we all just want to be with our friends. That's like
me and Hannah have had that exact conversation. It's like, man, if we won the $200 million Powerball or something like that, I would buy like a cul-de-sac somewhere, or just like a bunch of properties or a bunch of land to build properties,
build tunnels between underneath all the houses.
Literally just have all of our friends live together.
Well, and it's one thing too to say like like in an abstract way, like, oh, that would be cool, but like having lived that at a certain point, it's amazing. Like it's awesome having your friends that close, and everybody still has their own space, but like there never really were any boundaries. I don't feel like I never felt like I couldn't just walk over.
Knock on the door, say like, hey, what are you doing? Want to play some games or watch some spooky shit or something? What are we doing?
Yeah. It's really the best. And yeah. I love you guys a lot. So much. Anyway.
This is cool.
Yeah, I'm ready for this, Tyler. I'm ready to be spooked.
Yeah. So more background, Tyler does have some sleep paralysis. I don't think you've had it in a while, have you?
No, it's been better here lately. It really has.
Yeah. Probably. So there's a theory that one of our friends has. Ashley, she was on the podcast too, about how whenever you're having a harder time in life is whenever things like this happen to you. So I think whenever we had less money and just things were going harder, like that's when he's had the most issues with it. And a lot of this I didn't know. He was telling me about one yesterday. I knew about the shadow people just because I had mentioned it before we did our episode, and he was like, oh yeah, I've seen that. I'm like, where the fuck was I? So there was this one that he was telling me yesterday, because this is the most recent one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the most recent one that I can really remember, because I don't ever have like any encounters like with a friend at work that where she sees it like while she's awake. I don't remember ever experiencing that. All of mine have always been like in dream state, so like while I'm asleep. But for my most recent one, it takes place oddly enough within our current bedroom. And it was before we moved our bed to where it is. It was back when it was in the caddy corner, like facing the door. And in the dream, I can remember it's like nighttime. So as if I had woken up out of sleep, and I can hear, it sounds like somebody coming up the steps, probably about like halfway up the staircase.
Another reference, we sleep with a very loud fan on and you can not hear people coming up the steps.
Yeah. In my dream though, I don't have that fan noise. It's as if the room was quiet.
Well, you always have that. You always have that thing in dreams too, right? Where you just know stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm apparently super clairvoyant when it comes to me and myself in dreams. But I want to say sometimes that you're in the bed there with me, and then sometimes that you're not. I'm just by myself, and I can hear this person coming up the stairs about halfway through the steps, and like I all of a sudden just get into this huge state of just like terror. Like, because normally, I mean, I've never been in many situations where I've had to, defend myself or something like that. But I usually think of myself more as I will defend myself kind of person. But in this dream, this night terror that I'm having, I can't move. I'm so scared and just in such a state of paranoia and like suspense as well, because I'm waiting to see, who is this that's coming up, what's going on, but I can't do anything about it. And it gets like progressively like more so until like right to the point where this figure turns the corner at the top of our stairs and then is visible like through our doorway from our bed. And I just at that moment just completely freeze. Like I can't move. I can't look away from this person. It kind of gets hard to breathe. And at that point, like I'm trying to usually yell and scream like for help or something, like trying to scream at this thing to go away. And I don't ever really remember seeing like a coat or a hat on this person. Mine is just more of a silhouette of the normal human form. No like distinctive features.
Would you say that it's more of a male form or a female?
Usually male for me.
No eyes.
Normal for
no eyes for me. No, I mean I can feel it like staring at me and I know it is, but I can't like visually tell that.
So the male form is way more common with shadow figures. They're very rarely that people mention that there's a female form.
Okay. And usually for mine too, it's hard to put into words. There is a distinct like lines to their body, like I can tell it's a human form, but at the same time, there's almost as if there is like a darker aura around it. Yeah, like kind of emanating from it. And usually at this point in my dream, I'm trying to, like I said, yell, scream at it either for help or at it itself to go away, leave me alone. What are you doing here? Stuff like that. And it's usually at this point.
He's actually yelling.
Yeah.
So he's not actually yelling. It sounds like his mouth's covered. And he's like, and it's fucking terrifying. So I wake up and he's screaming with his mouth. It seems like his mouth is just like sewn shut and he's screaming. And so I shake him and he goes, thanks, and just goes back to sleep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because it's I feel like on some level I'm conscious enough to realize that it's like, okay, I'm dreaming, this is messed up. I'm on some level I'm also trying to scream and like get myself awake. And like I don't know if it's also too that it's like I realize that she's there or somebody's around me, so I'm trying to yell for scream for somebody to wake me up because I can't do it myself. I'm basically stuck there.
So I knew that. So obviously I know he does the yelling. Did not know there were shadow people when he's yelling. So now I'm gonna be like, how am I supposed to go to sleep now? Fucking shadow people in my room.
So have you ever heard the thing that people that get sleep paralysis a lot say, where like if you talk about it, it makes it happen?
Brandon.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm just. So there's this Netflix movie.
I'm gonna call you in the middle of the night tonight. He's screaming in bed.
There's this Netflix movie called The Nightmare, and I think we talked about it whenever we talked about sleep paralysis, shadow people, and stuff like that. But it's about all these different people who experience sleep paralysis, and it's like intermixed with like these real life interviews and like these. You know how they used to do those like cheesy reenactments on like unsolved mysteries? It's kind of like that, but like good, So like as these people are telling their stories, they're showing these like reenactments of these people, and one of the reoccurring ones is the guy with the hat. And there's just this really creepy part where like one of the guys is like, who's clearly like at the end of his rope, right? Like he is just like dead-eyed, like telling this story. And he's the one that brings up the fact that usually the more he talks about it, the more it happens. And then the person interviewing is like, so do you think you'll experience it tonight? And he's like, oh yeah, definitely. And it's like,
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's only ever happened to me
he
once.
knows that's gonna happen too, so he's kind of making that sacrifice to
Yeah.
talk about it.
You know, they
knows
say
he's gonna
that
have to
it's
deal
a
with it.
lot less common for side sleepers. Because generally when you experience sleep paralysis, you get that feeling of pressure on your chest. Like a lot of the times, that's like if you look at like old literature, there's like the image of like the devil sitting on the chest, because people
Taking
would
away your breath.
people would experience that. So I don't know what that has to do with it, but they generally say if you're a side sleeper, you don't really experience sleep paralysis.
Side sleeper.
Which actually I am a slide sleeper, so exception to the rule, baby.
Damn, I thought you were safe, Tyler.
Yeah, right.
No, that's
it's even worse when he's facing me, when he's yelling with his mouth shut. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
what's happening?
I feel bad about it because I know it has to be extremely unnerving.
And he just goes right the fuck
night.
back to sleep, and I'm like, you jolly motherfucker. Like,
that's always the worst part about Bradley's little like night terror things he has, is that he just goes back to sleep immediately.
I've never been able to do that.
She says that I do. I know, to me it seems like I'm awake for a while after that.
He's
Like
immediately back
like
to
I try
sleep.
to like lay there and like try to get myself like calmed down and, you know, unnerved and everything like that. But I know always, to me it seems like I'm just laying there for an eternity afterwards, trying to, you know, calm my heart and, you know, just relax back down, because it is an extremely terrifying experience. Like it's one of the reasons usually like I don't talk about it a whole lot. I've never really said anything to her about it before now, because it is extremely unnerving and takes a lot to kind of cope with, I guess you could say, or to like to try to get over or bring myself back from.
For sure. But I do think it also helps to like get it out there and realize that other people experience it too. So it makes you feel a little bit less like you're the only one dealing with it. You know?
Yeah.
So I do not have sleep paralysis, but in our current room, I will wake up in the middle of the night and just be completely convinced that there's a big shadow like standing right in front of me. And it takes me a while. I have to lay there and just stare and wait for it to go away. It happens all the time.
After hearing those stories about those noises in your apartment.
Oh my God, I'm still so pissed at Phoebe for that. I'm like, why do you tell me about this? I hate going in our guest room. Like, there's just somebody that lives in there, I'm sure.
And you used to record up there.
I did, and it was spooky as fuck, especially when Brandon's like, why's your door opening? He's fucking with me. I'm like, it's not. I was like, fuck you. The camera is facing the door. It would be fucked up if the door actually was noticing and I couldn't see it opening in the camera.
Yeah.
But didn't actually happen. Brandon's just a dick.
I say you're never mind.
Do you have any other ones that have happened here in our previous apartments or anything?
Yeah, actually in the first apartment that we lived in. Similar situation, like, you know, black silhouetted form, you know, a little bit of aura coming off of them, and usually about like the same setup. Like I can hear it. Let's see, the way our first apartment was set up, it was all on one floor, and the hallway to the front door led right up to the living room, and then right off of that, where that wall opened up, was our bedroom door. And so I think similar situation. It's been a while since I've experienced this, but from what I can remember, it was I can hear something like in the hallway, like around the front door. And so I'm sitting there in bed, just like sitting there waiting to see something or to figure out like what's going on. And then it comes around the corner to where I can see it, and I'm frozen, just cannot move, just utter terror. Like it's almost to the point too, it's like you hear or like see in most like sci-fi movies or like horror movies, that sound that they use, it's kind of like an ambient sound to build tension, or if somebody's like in a heightened sense of or a state of like paranoia, or something's kind of like messing with their mind or controlling them. I almost feel that and like can hear that and sense that, like almost like a radiation, like a change in the atmosphere within the room. Like
it makes you wonder if like that sound is so synonymous with that feeling because of movies, or if it's the other way around.
If it's implanted in there, or if it's somehow,
So I find it interesting that all of these things start like halfway up the stairs or halfway down that hallway, because stairways and doorways are transition points.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually where people see.
As Charmed
ghosts.
called it, the tween places. For all our Charmed fans out there.
My God.
Of anybody the best to make fucking Charmed reference.
Yeah, right.
Tyler.
Now
I'll be
that's
here all episode.
It's interesting that that's a thing that you see, and that they stay in the doorway for you. We also don't sleep with our door open.
Yeah. So it's very like you said, out of place or like not normal for the doorway to be open for me to even witness this.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, in all of my like occurrences with it, it's never like the door has swung open.
It's just
fast or
open
creepy.
already.
It's just already open, and this takes place. And but it is always in like a familiar setting. It's never like I'm somewhere where like I shouldn't be or like somewhere that I don't recognize. It's always takes place in our bedroom. Is where it happens.
Damn. I'm
I was like, oh fuck, now I'm gonna be fucking scared.
Well, I'm kind of shocked because I never knew any of this either. Like I never knew you experienced any of this stuff.
Yeah, it's something I literally like never ever really talk about. It kind of goes with my personality because I'm the kind of person I kind of internalize almost everything. And like if I get like really stressed or worked up about something, I kind of shut down and I internalize everything and just kind of work on it within myself. So I'm not usually a whole lot of a person to talk about myself or to talk through things like that.
I'm the complete opposite. So we're both having a very bad day and I'm just spouting my bullshit at him.
And I'm just sitting there just
like
kind of staring at the TV or focused on whatever I'm doing because I'm just internalizing everything. So and I'm not promoting this, by the way. It's not necessarily a healthy coping mechanism. I'm just saying it's what I do. But I'm always an open book too. Like if anybody specifically ever asks me something, then I talk about it, I'm really easy to do that. But as far as me actively just taking it upon myself or pursuing to talk about things like that, I usually don't.
We've been together for 9 years, and yesterday is when he told me some of this stuff because I was listening to a podcast and what they were saying about shadow people sounded so familiar to him because of what he's experienced. Tyler also isn't as big into spooky things or ghosts and all that shit as I am. So he doesn't listen to these podcasts or anything normally. He doesn't watch a whole ton of horror movies.
Well, I feel like it's there's two types of responses to this kind of thing, right? Like either someone reacts to it the way you do, where you don't really talk about it, you don't really want to go into it very often, and then there's the other way where it's like I need to know what this is, I need to know more about it, and then that leads you down the path I think of like getting more into this kind of stuff like Hannah and I never had like a specific experience that made me do it, but I know that like that's something that leads.
Salty as shit about it.
I just know that there's something that that's something that can lead people to it, and like having people around me that experience that type of stuff too, like has kind of kept me interested in it. But I appreciate the fact that you came on here and told us and all these people listening. So thank you.
Anytime, buddy.
And we listen. I think there's a certain like camaraderie in this kind of thing for like I said, people who've experienced it and like share their stories. And that's one of the things, like when we ask for people to send us stories and stuff, like we like the fun ones, we like the funny ones, but like sometimes people just have shit they need to get off their chests,
Yeah.
And like we want to be like an outlet for that,
Yeah.
Hannah and I feel like from the beginning have always tried to encourage people to like share things with us that they feel like they couldn't share with like their family or friends or some people who don't get it.
And it's not just because we think it's cool.
Yeah, which we do
enjoy that we can be that outlet for you all. We've had a few stories that are really intense, and it had to be hard for people to send to us.
And the thing is, it might not come across all the time because, we do have a tendency to keep things pretty lighthearted because the subjects that we're dealing with are pretty depressing and dark and scary. But I think
these COVID times.
yeah, I think we both have a healthy respect for it, and that's why when we have discussions about these things from a very matter of fact point of view, it's because we don't want to make light of it, yeah, is there the chance that everything we're talking about is just superstition? Sure, but do you really want to chance it? That's but that leads me into asking for people to send us their shit. So we have a couple different avenues for that. You can email us at ghostwrittenpodcast@gmail.com, or if you want to send us DMs or even tag us and shit. That's people have started doing that on Facebook, and I'm like, yes, tag us and shit that you think we would like. And so on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, we're at GhostWritten Pod. And then we plugged it very early on, but if you would like to see our beautiful faces and Tyler's handsome mug, you can watch video recordings of every episode over on Patreon. It's patreon.com/ghostwritten. Yeah, we own Patreon now, so it's ghostwritten.com/Patreon.
Yep. But the important one first, Brandon.
But yeah, we have a couple different tiers over there. They're pretty cheap, so if you guys want a little bit more content from us, feel free to support us over there. And if you can't monetarily, we get that too. And you can always like us or subscribe to us on whatever your platform is. Leave us a good little review. Don't leave us a bad one, or Tyler will personally fight you. Okay, don't fuck with it. He's got the power of God and anime on his side.
That's right.
Power of God and anime.
It's a meme. Yeah, it's a gift. I know what he's talking about.
But with that, thank you all for listening. Tyler, thank you so much for coming on. Hannah, thank you for bringing him on. And I think it's time.
Oh, and of course, people from the outside perspective, when they say send them your stuff, your stories and everything like that, as being a person that is married to one of these and gets to regularly, they do love it, and they do engage in all of those. So
yeah,
feel free. Seriously, send them everything. Yeah, no, they really do enjoy it and love talking with you guys. So seriously, feel free to send them stuff.
Oh, thanks, Tyler.
Of course.
Spooky outro.
You ready to participate in the spooky outro?
We'll say yes.
Ghost noises.
Oh, okay.